What's good, family? Welcome back. It's good to be back, and it's good to have you back. I think on this fine afternoon, well, I say that, it's just not blitz. It's actually not too bad. I'm actually a little bit warm. So, today I'm going to talk about, make sure. So today I'm going to talk about all the costs involved, or a majority of the costs involved in getting your license, getting a bike, insuring a bike, maintaining a bike, and then whatever other odds and sods I can chuck in. Now, it's been a long time since I've done that, since I got my license, so a lot of it is very hazy. So, I've got notes. Don't judge me. I'm only perfect on Sundays. But, because I'm on a decent bit of road, forget this transition. We'll just get straight into it. Now, there's a number of licenses that you can get to ride a bike, and depending on what age you are will depend on what kind of bike you can actually ride. So, starting from the beginning, you've got your AM. Now the AM, you can start that at 16 years old, and essentially that's your CBT, pretty much, which is your compulsory bike training, so it's sort of the minimal sort of bike training you can get, and then that allows you to ride anything up to 50cc. Now if you have no interest of riding anything more than that in your career, then you can just keep doing CBTs. They last for, I believe, 2 years. Thank you. So they last for 2 years, and you can ride anything up to 50cc for the rest of your life if that's what you want to do. Now, following that, no one can pay attention. Now, following that, you hit 17, or you are 17, or you're approaching 17, and you want to ride something a bit more. The next one after that is your A1. So the A1 you can get when you're 17 years old. You need to do a theory test and a practical, and that will allow you to ride anything up to 11 kilowatt. So 125cc, 11 kilowatt, which is about 14 horsepower. Once you've got that license, you can stick with that license for the rest of your life if you want. I believe at that stage there's no need for you to have L plates, but I will confirm that later and update that in the edit if that is the case or if that's not the case. So cool, you've had enough of up to 125s. You've got a bit older now, you've got a couple years riding experience, or none for that matter, but you're 19 years old. That's when you can go for your A2 license. So you have to be 19 for your A2 license, and to get your A2 license you can do it via, if you've had your A1 for a couple years. So if you had your A1 for 2 years, then you do your mod 1 and your mod 2, and then that will allow you to ride anything up to 46 horsepower. Now if you haven't got your A1, then obviously you need to go get your CBT and have a look at the courses and see how you can do it that way. Because you need to do your CBT, you need to do your theory, and then obviously do your mod 1 and mod 2. If you've already got your A1, then you've already done your theory test. Now all of them require you to have a theory at some point, with the exception of your CBT, which is your AM, which is the bare minimum. So cool. So A2 is either your A1 for over 2 years, and then you do your mod 1 and your mod 2, that allows you to ride anything up to 35 kilowatts or 46 horsepower, which again for many is enough. Now you've grown out of that, you've got a couple more years on you, so you've hit 21. Between 21 and 23, that is where you can go for your A2 license. So your A2 license, sorry, your A license. Oh my days, I've messed that up. Oh my days. Kids, don't do as I do. So yeah, so boom, you had enough of your A2 and you want to jump onto your A. So between 21 and 23, if you've had your A2 for 2 years, again you pass your mod 1, your mod 2, and then now that jumps up to you riding anything up to 50 kilowatts, which is about 67 horsepower. So I think some of the schools that I saw, one of the bikes that they use for that is an MT-07. So it's a decent bike for you to jump on and get that experience in when you're sort of taking those steps to get your license. Yeah, but yeah, 21 to 23, A2 for 2 years, pass your mod 1, your mod 2. If you haven't had your A2 for that period of time, then again it's a staggered process. CBT, theory test, all of that. See, that's why when you're riding, if someone's on the left hand side, just stick on the left hand side with them, because just like that taxi was doing, he was moving over to let the guy on the left go, but then that guy on the right decided to go. So obviously at these so slow speeds it's going to be nothing catastrophic, innit? But yeah, just pay attention to that. But yeah, 21 to 23, if you've had your A2 for 2 years, then you can ride anything. Do your mod 1, mod 2, and then you can ride anything. Or if you're 24 and over, then you could do what I did, because basically obviously I'm 22 innit, like I said in the previous one innit, so I kind of had to let me not talk about that. But 24 and over, you can do your direct access and basically do 0 to hero. So you're looking at, find a school, you want to do the course, and then they could take you through everything, and the cost is dependent on how much training you need. So a lot of the cost is to do with bike hire, insurance, equipment, and all of that sort of stuff. Oh what, now this man's scared of the police. Go on, big man, go on. You see, just when I thought he was on job, I would have been, well, I don't know about the lorry in front innit, but I'd have been gone the same way. But yeah, the route that I took is like a direct access course. So I had no license, all I had was a provisional entitlement, and I'd done my theory test in my own time. So with that is you go there, they do like some basic stuff, so they give you your CBT, I guess. I can't really remember. Then you jump on to do your progressive increase. So you essentially do your A1 in there, then you do your A2 kind of training, and then you jump on to do your direct access, which I think you have to use a bike that's around 600cc, there or thereabouts. And then once you do that, then that's it, you're good to go. You can just jump on anything you want. You can do that 24 years old, never rid a bike before, get your A license and then jump on a Hayabusa. Now you probably won't get insured on it, but you would have the license for it. So cool, you've got your license, whatever licenses you've got. The average cost between all of them is in the ballpark of say 900 to about £1,500. Again, it could be more, it could be less, and a lot of it is depending on how much training you need. So the one I did, I think, was about 4 days, and it included all my DVSA and all of that sort of stuff as well. Now, when I actually went to do my license for the first time, I was ill. I was doing some madness. I was pulling out on cars without checking my blind spot. I was sneezing in my helmet, swerving over the place. I was doing a madness. So I'm surprised he didn't just kick me off my bike and then just drag the bike back to the DVLA centre or DVSA centre. But and because of that, I think I had to spend another £200. So I think my course was about £1,100. And I had to spend another £200 because obviously I failed the test the first time. But a lot of it depends on how much training you feel like you need. Yeah, I can hit that bus lane. Well, I'll just stay on the outside. So yeah, so cool, now you got your license, cool, now you're ready to jump on a bike. Now obviously, like I've said in previous videos, get the best bike you can for your budget, yeah? And then some of the things are going to make a bit more sense as I go through them. So for example, a bike like this, R1 Big Bang, 2009 to 2014. These range from about 4.5, 5 grand. I've seen some up to 9 grand. That's 1000cc. It's about 180 brake horsepower on this bike. Overpowered, but it's super nice. Now a Gixxer, if you wanted to get, say, a Gixxer 1000, I've seen them go for about 4.5 grand. All the way up to about the same, about 7-8 grand there or thereabouts. This is going from about 2008 to about 2018 or there or thereabouts. I have heard that you can get that people have got a Gixxer for as low as about 87p and some hot tour. Now, I ain't met the person that bought that. I'm not that interested in meeting that person. But hey, if you look around and you offer the right people the right incentive, like you can get a bargain in it. It's all about what you're willing to do. So I'll talk about what insurance is like on these kind of bikes with the different scenarios that are available, or the different scenarios when it comes to not so much age, but no claims and area and stuff. So for me, I've had my license for 12 years, nearly 13 years. I've got 5 years no claims on this. I'm in the London area. I pay just under £1,000. I think it's something like £980 or something like that. That's if you do it monthly. If you pay it off in a one, it would have been like £920. So I pay just shy of £1,000 for my insurance. Now, that's with 5 years no claims. The more no claims I have, the cheaper it would get. The less no claims I have, the more expensive it is. So, for example, with 3 years no claims, it was about £1,100. With 1 year no claim, I believe it was about 3 grand. It jumped up. No, sorry. It was about 2.5 grand. With 0 no claims and everything else staying the same, it was about 3.5 grand. Now, here's where you need to play about and have a look at the insurance when you're doing it. Because third party fire and theft isn't always the cheapest. With the same no claims, third party fire and theft, it was over 5 grand. It was cheaper to be comprehensive than it was to be third party fire and theft. Now when I went to third party only, yeah, forget about it, miss. Forget about it. Why is this guy on a sabotage thing? This transit. yeah, third party fire and theft, forget about it. I couldn't get insured if you had no claims. Area plays a big factor as well. When I just was checking for quotes and I went to my sister's area over sort of Basildon area, it's the same thing. I couldn't get insured. No one wanted to quote me on any of those situations. So that was a myth. So third party fire and theft, which usually on cars tends to be cheaper, it doesn't seem to be the case for me on a bike. So one thing that I'd recommend some people to do is, if you plan on getting a bigger bike at some point, even if you're not riding, it might be worth getting yourself a little banger, just a little run around, get insured on that, and then just build up your no claims. So you might use the bike once a week, you might just use it to go pick up some prozzies on a Saturday night, whatever you're using it for. Just get a little bike, have it insured, keep the mileage low so it has some resale value, and then when it comes time to you actually getting your bike and doing all of that, well, one, you've already done the work of getting your license, so now you've had your license for a couple years perhaps, and then two, you've been insured and you've got a track record on your bike when it comes to insurance. So then that helps to bring your quote down. Where you live is where you live. You can't do anything about that. So where you live is where you live. You can't do anything about that. So by getting a bike early, insuring it, building up your no claims, you give yourself a fighting chance when it comes to getting insured on, well, any other bike that you want, really. So yeah, insurance, play about with it, and then see. And then see what you can do with that. So cool, you've got insurance. Now next you're looking at your maintenance and stuff. So already your license itself, depending on what route you've got, could cost you up to and above £1,500, depending on the route that you want to take. And now with that, when it comes to sort of getting your license and going through your A1, your A2 and what have you, is I'm going to put a link below to another YouTube channel called Richie's Garage. He basically did all his training by himself without the help of a school because they were being difficult. So if you have access to a bike and then you have access somewhere to ride it, you can actually practice some of the maneuvers and do a lot of this stuff without needing to pay for those extra lessons. So I'll put like an insert somewhere on the screen of an example of what like your Mod 1 looks like, or some of the Mod 1 with your slow maneuvers and stuff. You got a left-hand circuit and a right-hand circuit, but what I'll do is I'll put the link for his video in the description, and I'd say for those of you going down that route of getting your license, give that a watch, and you can probably ask him any questions he has, because he did everything for the most part by himself, and you could all do it as well. I encourage that. For me, when I first learned to ride, there's a place in, I want to call it, just say in the Romford area, called Cardrome. Now that's basically private land, it's off-road. You can drive cars there, bikes there, you can do whatever. You pay your fee, you go in, they've got traffic lights, little roundabouts, long stretches, turns, what have you. You can practice all that stuff in there. And once you've paid and you've got in, you can basically spend the whole day if you want, for as long as you've got fuel until they close. So that's where I first went and learned how to ride the 600, the R6. So you can jump on in there, get someone to take a bike over there, and then practice over there. Or if you've got like your own, like a decent driveway, or you're in some private area, then you can look at some of these things in it and try and set some of these up so you can practice. So now instead of booking that 14-day license package, you might be able to get away with 4 days or 5 days or 6 days. Or if you've got access to that bike, you can pay for the insurance and you don't have to worry about paying for that bike hire and all of that for the school's bikes. You can have someone bring your bike there, chuck it in a van, or have someone else ride it there, and then you can use that to ride with the instructor. But yeah, between getting your license, which could be anything up to £1,500, getting a bike like this, which could be anything up to £9,000, but realistically, not everyone's going to just jump and get a bike like this. You're looking at spending about £2-3 on a decent bike, say a 250, a 300, or what have you. Or if you are just in that 125 stage, a decent 125 for like a couple grand. Then you're looking at your insurance. Now, obviously, insurance is dependent on you. But so far for me it was about £1,300 to get my license, not including my theory test. It would have been about £6,000 to get the bike, but I was fortunate enough that this bike was gifted to me. So yeah, how about that? So that would have been £6,000, so already down I'm about sort of 7.2, call it £7,500. Then insurance is just under £1,000. That brings me to about, just call it £8,500 with any odds and sods. Then now you're looking at MOT and tax. Now again, I'll put another link in the description that shows you what you should be paying for MOT and what you should be paying for tax. Now I think I've been mistaken in my previous videos where I said I paid about £270 for tax on this. I don't know where I got that from, and I need to go find that receipt to see what I actually paid, because the maximum that I should pay for tax on this is £117. Now I did it as if I was to do the tax again, and that's what it comes up as. So I'll put, oh, what was that way? Right, people out here just dropping their guts. So yeah, again, that information will be in the description below. Did he just crash? He just crashed, he wasn't even going nowhere. Hey, both of them up that. Ah, if you were to see that. Ah, both of them, head shoots, you know. Both of them hopped out on a mad one. But yeah, the light just turned green and the cyclist just crashed into that Merc. Oh, London, eh? But yeah, that made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, tax on a bike like this should be no more than 117 quid. MOT for bikes, the maximum that you should be paying on MOT on bikes should be like 29.95 or something like that, 30 quid. Now, I know with some of these numbers with the MOT anyway, I don't know if that's gone with inflation or what have you. So some test centers might cost a little bit more, some might be a little bit less. Me personally, I'm not really too concerned about paying 35-40 quid for MOT, as long as I can be sure that they're actually giving my bike a proper MOT and actually looking it over and making sure that things are as they're supposed to be. So cool, you've done your MOT, you've done your insurance, your road tax, that's another couple hundred quid. So for a bike like this, you're down there £9,000, and you haven't even touched things like clothing, gloves, boots, waterproof gear, warm gear, other maintenance like tyres and what have you. So I don't know why I'm in this lane. So for example, I've had 2 back tyres on this bike since I've had it. I got a puncture, I went to get it repaired, the tyre was too far gone for a repair. So alright, cool, I had to bite the bullet, paid about 150 fitted over at 2 Tyres down in, I want to call it Greenwich. The same day I got those tyres, I got a puncture and just cried. The slow puncture, I didn't realise until a couple of days later. No, I'm lying. I saw it the same day, but I didn't notice the effects until a couple of days later because it was a slow puncture. So I was pulling up and I just happened to see this fat nail just sticking out the tyre. But it wasn't sticking out, it was well embedded, but I just saw this fat nail. So eventually, and you can at least indicate. So eventually I got that tyre, and that cost me again about another 150. That was for the rear tyre. Tyres can be as low as, I think it was around 50, 60 quid starting from a front tyre, and the back was about 70, 80 quid starting for a back tyre. But the type of tyre will depend on the type of bike you have and how you plan to ride your bike. So I believe on mine, I think I've got Continental 5s. I want to say that because that's just the only thing that sticks in my mind. Before that, I think I had tyres I got before that, I want to say were Pirellis, but I can't remember now. But it was the original tyre that was on this bike. But now I got the Continentals, partly because it was part worn because it had just been on another bike before they realised they put the wrong tyre on, or the guy had selected the wrong tyre. So I took it off that. It hadn't really had any miles on it. But yeah, if you're looking at tyres for a bike, sort of you're looking at in the ballpark starting from about 50, 60 quid all the way up. Now I wouldn't really get part worn tyres, and I don't know if that's a thing in the bike world. I've only ever really seen new, but that's pretty much all I'd get. Now when it comes to punctures, I'll keep a puncture repair kit under my seat, and then I keep a pump in my bag, and that actually saved me, because again that one puncture, I was at South London somewhere where I started to feel the bike go, and then I had to pull over, look, and then that's it, I had a flat tyre. So lucky that I had that repair kit, because I was able to repair it, get home, and then that's when I went to 2 tyres the next day to get the tyre that I've got on it now. So it was a nail that was in it, and then I got a piece of glass that was in it, which is what sealed the deal for it. So you've got your license, you've got a bike, you've got insured on it, you've taxed it, you've MOT'd it, and assuming there's nothing that needs doing to the bike, you pay about 30 odd quid to get your MOT done, and you pay at most 117 quid for your tax. Jackets cost like £200, boots cost a couple £100, trousers cost a few £100. If you want to get full leathers, you're looking at spending upwards of £1,000. So again, going back to what I said earlier and I said in the previous video, when it comes to getting your bike, get the best bike you can within your budget, factoring in what your insurance is going to cost, what the maintenance is going to cost, your miles per gallon, how fuel efficient it is, what you plan to do with the bike. Again, like I said in the last video, if you're just commuting, you're just flying back into town, flying around central London, what have you, then think, is it worth paying £1,000 or £2,000 or £3,000 on insurance for a bike to just get you back and forth from your work? And I think cost-wise, immediate costs, that's pretty much it is. When you start getting onto things like phone holders and chargers, phone chargers, things like that. If you want to start YouTube vlogging or what have you, motovlogging, this time. Then you want to start looking at cameras, microphones, and all this stuff. That's a whole nother video. Hench. And yeah, I'll just leave that for another video. So those are just a few things to think about. I'll try and remember to chuck all those links in the description. One again, I'll give a shout out to Richie's Garage. He did, again, like I said, he did it pretty much on his own. He pretty much taught himself for the most part, and then just went to the test centres with his own bike to actually sit the mod ones and do all the rest of it to get his license and what have you, so he can start riding. And then some of the other material I'll chuck in the link before. So on the DVSA website, it gives you a whole sort of like a roadmap from your your AM, A1, A2, and then the 2 different routes to get your A license. So all of that stuff will be there before. And yeah, man, if you've got any questions or anything like that, then Google it, because I think I've exhausted my I've exhausted my knowledge on that. But yeah, man, for now, I bid you adieu. Hopefully I'll catch you soon. Peace.